In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back inside Royal Broham Pavilion, Game 2 of the doubleheader between the Azusa Pacific Cougars and the Seattle Pacific Falcons. As the first game went to Western Washington, they defeated Cal State San Marcos by 17 points. Ended up being a close game, but Western Washington pulled away at the end. Western Washington had a big lead and lost most of it and then pulled back away. This one coming up here, both of these teams won last night. Azusa Pacific defeated Western Washington 88-77, and Seattle Pacific defeated Cal State San Marcos 72-48. That was the first win of the season for the Falcons. They are now 1-5. They had 5 double-digit losses, and then they picked up a double-digit win last night. Azusa Pacific is 3-0. They are ranked number 18. I don't think I mentioned that in last night's game, but they come in, as I mentioned, they are picked to win the Pac West and ranked number 18 at the moment. 3-0 their record and looking to stay undefeated. They are coached by 18th year head coach TJ Hardiman, and he's going to go with the same lineup he had last night. Audrey Sayak, a junior from Glendale, California. Kelly Heimberger, a graduate student from San Jose, California. Amaya Kirkman, a graduate student from Scottsdale, Arizona. Rome Falcochia, a junior from Ventura, California. And Lauren Jones, a junior out of Werribee, Australia. And the Falcons, coached by Karen Byers, in her first year, she's actually the interim head coach as she took over for Mike Simonson fairly late in the offseason. Of course, she was an assistant. She's been an assistant here. She's going to go with Haley Ota, a sophomore out of Honolulu, Hawaii. Hunter Buren, a fifth-year player out of Mukilteo, Washington. Lane Kearns, a sophomore from Hamilton, Montana. Madison Rubino, a junior from Snohomish, Washington. And Skylar Berry, a senior out of Portland, Oregon. And I have to apologize to the Kearns family for kind of going back and forth on the pronunciation of her first name. It is Lane, not Laney. We got bad information, and I've kind of gone back and forth on it, but we're going with Lane here. And Lane Kearns is still the Falcons' leading scorer at 9.7 points per ball game. The Cougars with 4 players that average double figures. The Falcons with none. Kearns was averaging double figures, but is now down to 9.7, which is close enough. We can round that up to 10. But Falcons with an important win last night. Here's Amaya Kirkman getting a 3 from the top of the key, and she puts it in to start this one off. And the Cougars go up 3-0 on the Falcons. And Falcons are going to have to adjust quickly to this full court press that the Cougars are throwing at them. And they do get it across midcourt. Struggled there to get it across midcourt. Here's Madison Rubino driving and gets an open baseline and lays it up and in. And now the Falcons trying to cause a turnover here as a couple of players reach in on Sayak, and it's a foul by Hunter Buren, her first, and that's the first foul on either team. Cougars with a 3-2 lead. Rubino with the first points for SPU, and Kirkman the first points for Azusa Pacific. Audrey Sayak had 22 last night in the win over Western Washington. Here's Kirkman from about the same spot, but not shooting it this time. And here's Sayak now stepping back, taking a 3, and that one is all net. And the Cougars with 2 threes on their first couple of possessions here. And again, this one now thrown away as Kearns was trying to get it to Buren. And it looked like Buren was going to be able to get to it, but it sails past her. And it is now Azusa Pacific's ball, up by 4. And Lauren Jones will inbound to Kelly Heimberger. Now Kirkman with the ball cutting to the top of the key, and Rubino pokes it away. And here come the Falcons back the other way. Kearns to Ota, and now Buren with it. If Falcons can play defense as well as they did last night, they got a shot in this game. Skylar Berry with the jump hook in the lane, and it's 6-4. As each team with a couple of buckets here early. The Cougars' buckets have been threes, though, and the Falcons have been twos. This one off the mark. Heimberger with the rebound, and she puts it back up and in. And the Cougars go back up by 4. Kearns will get it into Ota. Ota double-teamed in the backcourt, and she'll get it ahead to Rubino. And the Falcons will break the press. Here's Buren. Nice move there, stepping around the defender and putting it up and in. Hesitation there. Faked the jumper from further out and stepped around and went up for the lay-in. Hunter Buren had a great ball game last night. 23 points for her. And just the third time as Skylar Berry rejects that shot. And the Cougars get it back, though. But the third time in Buren's career that she's gone over 20 points. This one laid up and in by Heimberger. And the Cougars, again, with a 4-point lead. Rubino a 3 quickly in transition, and that one misses off the iron, and the Cougars will get it back. A lot more offense in this one in the first 2 minutes than what we saw in the first game between Western and Cal State San Marcos. San Marcos didn't score until there was under a minute to go in the first quarter in that game, as Kirkman will go to the baseline and put in the floater, and the Cougars with a 6-point lead. And again, Ota kind of gets trapped there, and Karen Byers called a timeout from the bench as her point guard there was in some trouble. 6:31 to play, first quarter, 12-6, Azusa Pacific with the lead over Seattle Pacific. And we'll step aside on the SPU webcast. We'll be back in just a moment.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Being a champion takes more than skill. More than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
6:31 to play first quarter, back inside Royal Rome Pavilion in Seattle. Greg Sexton with you on the SPU webcast. Both teams shooting north of 70% so far in this one. Falcons 3 out of 4 and the Cougars 5 out of 7. And Falcons, again, trying to get it in, and they will. Kearns will go around Sayoc. And Kearns going to get to the lane and leave it for Berry. And Skylar Berry puts it up and in with the left hand. Berry fought through traffic there and got the shot up and in. Grace Leisure off the bench. And she had a hand on that one. And Buren ends up with it, but they're going to call a foul on Leisure. And so Grace Leisure coming off the bench picks up a quick foul. Falcons have yet to collect a rebound in this one. The Cougars just 3, but a lot of shots have been made in this game so far, so not a lot of rebounds to be had. This will go the other way. And foul committed by Lauren Jones on the offensive end. Falcons down 4. And Kearns will get it into Buren. Falcons will break the press again. Falcons are going to have to deal with this style of play a couple of times when they play Alaska Anchorage, assuming that Anchorage still plays the full court press as they have for several years now. The Mayhem, they have the word Mayhem on their warm-up shirts. And Leisure banks in a three, and it's 12-11 as we saw a couple of banked-in threes from the Cal State San Marcos Cougars in the first game, and then Leisure goes glass. And it's going to be a turnover here as the Cougars will bring in 4 subs, but the Falcons will have possession as Haney, Roderick, Mitchell, and Belquist, the other sub in, as Amelia Bishop will come in for SPU. And Belquist guarding the inbounds pass. Kearns gets it into Rubino, and Falcons break the press. And another good hesitation move there by Beer, and this one rims out though. Almost went down. And this will be possession to the Falcons with 5:21 to go here in the first quarter. And the Falcons really have been able to deal with Azusa Pacific's full court press fairly well here. Had a couple of times where they struggled to get it across. Leisure puts up a three and is off the mark with it. And back the other way come the Cougars. And Leisure gets back on defense and comes up with a steal. And here come the Falcons again, trying to tie or take the lead. Kearns to Rubino. Bishop trying to rip it away from Roderick, and Roderick would not let go of the ball. It's a held ball, and Azusa Pacific will get it back. Rubino to the bench, and Lola Weatherspoon into the game for the Falcons. Cougars by 2, and the Falcons kind of returning that full court press. This one out of bounds, and it goes back to the Falcons. And so Falcons, you're not going to typically see them pressing the entire game, but they put some pressure on the ball in the backcourt on that play, on that possession, and they force a turnover. Here is Buren. Kicks it out to Bishop over in the corner. Here is Kearns getting to the bucket, and that one a little too strong. Sayak with the rebound, goes behind her back to get out of backcourt. Hands it off to Mitchell. Mitchell from the free throw line puts it up, puts it in. At least Mitchell puts the Cougars back up by 4. But Falcons have played much better last night and tonight as Weatherspoon gets down the floor, finds Leisure at the bucket, and Weatherspoon the assist to Leisure. Grace Leisure with 4 points. And Buren with the steal. Buren tried to get it to Leisure. Mitchell got a hand in there. It's going to stay with SPU. And the Falcons playing well defensively. Kirkman will come back in for the Cougars and Ota for the Falcons. And as much as Azusa Pacific plays defense end-to-end, the Falcons are getting after it as well. Here's Bishop with the long 2, and that one is off the mark. Mitchell the rebound. Cougars back into the front court with a 2-point lead. And Kirkman is going to step back and take a 3 from the right wing, and she puts it in. Kirkman with a couple of threes in this ball game. And the Falcons again break the press. Leisure into the front court. We'll get it back to Kearns. Kearns will go over to Ota. Kearns will get it back, and she'll take a 3 from the top of the key, and Lynn Kearns drains it. And the Falcons right back within 2. 17-15. Here's Mitchell running into Bishop, and no whistle there on the contact. But Kirkman ends up with it. Kirkman will get it to Rachel Roderick. To Mitchell, a 3 on the way, and she leaves that one short. But Haney is there for the rebound. Gets it back to Mitchell. Back to Haney from outside the free throw line, and she puts that one in. As Sydney Haney out of Kirkland, Washington, a local product. And we get a whistle as the Falcons were trying to inbound there, and Maya Kirkman gets called for the foul. Kearns and Leisure to the bench as Rubino and Buren check back in. Falcons down 4, and they have hung right with the Cougars here in this first quarter. Here's Weatherspoon getting it to Ota. Under 2.5 to play here in the first quarter. And Rubino finds Buren, and she'll get it out to Weatherspoon. Weatherspoon drives and puts it up with the left hand and leaves it off the mark. And it's going to go the other way. Azusa Pacific will take it. As a couple of subs in for the Cougars. Kelly Heimberger coming back in. And we see Mia Pierce in for the first time. Sophomore out of Spokane. Pierce with the ball into the front court. And they're going to call a traveling violation there on Sydney Haney. And the Falcons will take it back. Falcons have really played well on the defensive end. Despite the Cougars shooting 8 out of 11, Falcons have forced some turnovers here. And Buren with the long pass for Ota. Ota finds Bishop filling the lane nicely. Bishop running the floor, and she puts it up and in. And it's a 2-point game. Ota with the assist. Kirkman gets it across to Heimberger, and now Belquist going to take a 3 from the corner, and that one goes down. The Cougars with 4 threes here in the first quarter, and they lead it by 5, 22-17. Buren finding Rubino. Rubino, it has her shot blocked, but she's going to get to the free throw line. Cougars bench was not they were not pleased with the call there, as they thought they had a clean block, but Rubino will get to the free throw line for SPU. Rubino, a junior transfer, as she knocks in the first free throw. And she's been a couple of places, most recently at Cal Poly Humboldt, but she is a local product out of Snohomish, and she puts in both free throws here to get the Falcons back within 3. Cougars are shooting the ball very well here in the first quarter, but the Falcons have been able to make some plays defensively, and that shot misses by Haney. Heimberger will pull it down. Buren almost picked her pocket, but they get it over to Belquist, and Belquist misses on the 3 this time. It's out of bounds, and it's going back to the Falcons with 1:05 to go. Is it? Yes, it is going back to the Falcons. I saw the official. The reason why everybody was staying on that end is because Azusa Pacific is defending full court. Here's Ota taking a 3, and that one goes down, and the Falcons have tied it at 22. Haley Ota with her first 3 of the ball game. And here come the Cougars trying to retake the lead now. Heimberger gets it to Haney, and she's going to draw the foul with 41.1 left on the clock here in the first quarter. And the foul committed by Weatherspoon. Kearns will come back for Ota, and Roderick and Mitchell in. Pierce and Kirkman to the bench for the Cougars. And Heimberger actually is coming out, and Pierce is staying on. So it'll be 2 shots here for Sydney Haney, the sophomore from Kirkland. Went to Lake Washington High School. And she puts in the free throw to put the Cougars back in front. Haney's second free throw is good as well. And it's a 2-point lead for Azusa Pacific. Rubino and Weatherspoon ends up with it. It was deflected, but comes right back to Weatherspoon, and she lays it up and in. Running the floor. And the Falcons really with a good plan of attack here against this press by the Cougars. A foul committed there by Weatherspoon. That'll be her second. But the Falcons have been running the floor well. And that is really, if you can beat the press, you can get some fast break points. And that is what the Falcons have done well here in the first quarter. As Sayak comes back in for Rachel Roderick for the Cougars. Cougars with possession. Tie ball game, 24-24. A lot of points on the board here in the first quarter. Sayak. And there's about a 3-second differential between the shot and game clock. So Cougars trying to run down as much of the clock as they can. Here's Mitchell. And she commits an offensive foul. She pushed off on Buren. And the Falcons will take it back with 8.9 to go. Got to go the length of the floor, but 8.9 is plenty of time to do that. Kearns with the baseball pass for Rubino, and it's going to be out of her reach. I call it a baseball pass. Whatever you want to call it there. Long pass. More of a football pass, I think. As Heimberger comes in for Mitchell for the Cougars. They will have it now with 8.9 left as no time came off the clock there. Heimberger and Pierce now a 3, and that one off the mark. The rebound and the foul as Belquist will get to the free throw line. As she tracks down the offensive board. Lola Weatherspoon has picked up her third foul. Grace Leisure is going to come back in for her. So Weatherspoon has been a key part of the attack here in the first quarter, but she will presumably sit for the rest of the half with 3 fouls. As Belquist knocks in the free throw, and she'll get one more. And she makes that one as well. 3.7 left now. And Kearns ahead for Buren. She's going to pull up. She doesn't have a shot. She tried to get it to Bishop instead, but too late. As Buren was trying to let the defense go past her and take the shot. But they were not biting on her shot fake there. Cougars lead the Falcons 26-24 after one quarter of play. Good back and forth action here. A lot of both teams running up and down the floor, and 50 points put on the board combined in this quarter. We'll be right back in just a moment on the SPU webcast. 26-24 Cougars. Back inside Royal Brome Pavilion, start of the second quarter coming up here. Azusa Pacific with a 26-24 lead over SPU. As Azusa Pacific, typically the team that forces turnovers, but the Falcons actually forced 8 in the first quarter, and the Cougars just 3. However, the Cougars out-rebounded the Falcons 10-2, and they lead by 2. Both teams have shot the ball well. Neither team has missed a free throw yet. Not that they have had a lot of opportunities. Buren is going to be fouled as she held on to that one long enough to draw the foul. As Sayak called for the foul there. That is her first. And Kearns will inbound. And she'll get it to Rubino. She'll get it across midcourt. Rubino trying to get it to Leisure, and the Cougars break it up and steal it. So they do get a turnover there. This one almost out of bounds, but Heimberger reels it in. And this one now thrown out of bounds as they were trying to get it to Kirkman. And did not connect on the pass there. So the Falcons, the beneficiaries of another turnover. And Kearns in front of her bench will inbound to Buren. Buren looking for some help. Tried to get it to Rubino. It gets past her, but Leisure is right there. And the Falcons will set up a possession. Buren swings it over to Rubino. And now back out for Leisure. They work it over to Buren. Skylar Berry now with 4 on the shot clock. Gets it to Buren. Buren has her shot blocked by Heimberger. Buren had to put it up. The shot clock was running down. But Heimberger right there to block the shot. Here's Sayak. And now Kirkman driving on Leisure and goes all the way underneath the basket and brings it back out. This will be a 3 on the way from Belquist, and it's off the mark. Rebound loose on the floor, and it's Buren that gets to it and pulls it out of there. Rubino forward for Leisure, and a 2-on-1. Leisure over in the corner, a 3 on the way, and it's off the mark, but Skylar Berry there for the rebound. Kearns was the one that put up the shot. Berry loses it in traffic, though, and the Cougars take it back. No points yet on the board here in the second quarter after a 26-24 first quarter. That's still the score now as Heimberger is tripped up. And the foul going to be called on Grace Leisure. That'll be her second. Amelia Bishop coming in for SPU. And Falco Chia and Jones back in for the Cougars. Here's Heimberger taking a quick 3, and that one off the mark. Sayak comes in there and gets the rebound, as they didn't box her out. We get a whistle here, and we get another foul on Grace Leisure. So Ota will come in. Weatherspoon has 3, and Leisure has 3 now. And so the foul's starting to mount for the Falcons here. Playing well defensively, but they have committed some fouls as Heimberger comes up short on the lay-in, and Rubino will track down the board and loop it to Buren. Here's Kearns forward for Bishop, and Bishop lays it up and in. Kearns with the assist. And Bishop has been good around the glass in her time on the court tonight as Heimberger puts up the 3, and that one is off the mark. Rubino with the rebound. Falcons an opportunity to take the lead on this possession. And here is Bishop getting to the bucket again. Ota with the assist this time. And Amelia Bishop with 6 points off the bench for SPU. And they've all been easy buckets in close. Heimberger has it stolen by Ota. And let's see if Ota can... That one is blocked out of bounds. I was going to say, let's see if Ota can shield the ball here and shield from the defenders, but not able to do it. However, the Falcons keep possession. And Rubino has her shot blocked from behind by Heimberger, but some contact as well, and Madison Rubino will get to the free throw line. Falcons with the lead by 2. And the foul committed by Heimberger. That is her second foul. Heimberger had a lot of the ball there, but knocked down Rubino as well. Heimberger will come to the bench, and Belquist back out there. Sabrina Belquist, senior out of Los Gatos, California. And Rubino hits the free throw. Madison Rubino, just 4 out of 11 from the free throw line coming into this game, and she goes 1 of 2 on that possession, or on that trip to the line. But comes up with a steal here. And the Falcons just getting their hands in the passing lanes. Here's Rubino for Kearns. Kearns whips it out to Buren, and she thought about taking the 3, but decides to drive instead. And now Sayak knocks it away. Ota gets back to it, though, and collects it back for the Falcons. And SPU with possession again, up 3. No time. The shot clock did not reset there. It's 5 on the shot clock. Buren to Bishop. She's going to take a 3, and that one off the back iron. No good. Rubino in there for the offensive rebound, the putback, and the Falcons take a 5-point lead. Madison Rubino with 7 points and made a great play there. Here is Kirkman on the other end putting up the 3. It's off the mark, and it's going to be out of bounds back to the Falcons with 6:17 to go here in the second quarter. Where was this from the Falcons the first 5 games of the season? They are just playing so much better on their home floor than they did out on the road. Here is Ota driving, and Rubino puts up the baseline jumper, and she puts it in from about 16 feet out. 33-26, Falcons with the lead. Here's Jones finding Belquist, cutting to the bucket, and Belquist puts it up and in. And it's a 5-point deficit now for the Cougars. Ota finding Bishop, and Bishop another bucket at the glass. It's 35-28. Amelia Bishop with 8 points, playing very well tonight for SPU. Here's Belquist. Gets it to Kirkman. Falcons have just stepped up their game here. Kirkman puts it short off the rim, and Rubino with the rebound. Falcons trying to knock off the Azusa Pacific Cougars. We got a long way to go in this one. Bishop this time contested by Falco Chia, and she comes up short. Here's Kirkman taking a 3 in transition, and Amaya Kirkman knocks it down from the top of the key. Dribbled straight into that one, and nobody stopped her. And Kirkman now with 11 points in the ballgame. Here's Rubino feeding it back to Bishop. She goes around Falco Chia, and Bishop another bucket. Amelia Bishop with 10 points in this ballgame off the bench. And she's been able to get down the floor on several occasions. She's now got 5 made field goals, and she comes up with the steal here. Ota knocked it away, and Bishop collects it. And here's Kearns. Karen Byers is going to get Leisure back into the game along with Barry and Buren. Leisure with 3 fouls, so she's going to have to be careful. Here's Ota. And Ota scoops it up and puts it in. Haley Ota with the floater. And the Falcons lead it by 8 over the Cougars. Here's Kirkman. Gets it to Sayak. Sayak dribbling. Ota screened out. And now the pass going to Belquist. Belquist will drive. She'll pull up, and she puts it in the lane from about 8 feet out. And Belquist with 9 points off the bench for the Cougars. Grace Turley is out there for the Falcons. And Rubino running the floor, and Bishop is as well. Rubino finds Bishop, and the Falcons, Amelia Bishop, 12 points off the bench. The Falcons retake an 8-point lead, and TJ Hardiman takes a timeout with 3:34 to play here in the second quarter. The Falcons have just continued to get down the floor and find the cutter to the bucket. And on 6 occasions, it's been Amelia Bishop, 41-33. We'll be right back on the SPU webcast.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Back inside Royal Browan Pavilion, Greg Sexton with you on the SPU webcast. Falcons lead it by 8 with 3:34 to play here in the first half. And they have Amelia Bishop for 12 on the scoreboard. They have her for 10 on the live stats, but she has provided a spark for the Falcons off the bench either way. I am thinking the scoreboard is correct. They don't have her. She's not in the game right now, but they had 12 on the scoreboard for her. And it seems like the scoreboard is correct. The live stats, they may have given a bucket to someone else as Kirkman slides in through traffic there and lays it up and in. And Amaya Kirkman with 13 here in the ballgame. Here's Kearns driving and couldn't get it to go. Barry gets in there and gets tied up as Mitchell and Pierce are able to tie up Barry, and the Cougars with the possession arrow in their favor. They'll take it back. Down 6 with under 3 minutes to play here in the first half. This one, nice pass there from Haney to Mitchell, and Mitchell lays it up and in. Falcons back down the floor quickly. Leisure gets to the bucket and lays it up and in. And the Falcons beat the press again. It's 43-37 with 2:30 to play here in the first half. SPU, as they knock this one out, they have had an answer on most of the possessions here in the first half for the press, full court press by the Cougars, as they were able to watch last night as Kirkman misses the 3. Leisure comes away with the rebound. Here's Kearns. She'll get it to Turley for a 3, and that one's off the mark. Rebound to Haney. And here come the Cougars with just over 2 minutes to play. And now Pierce with it. Leisure on her, and now Kearns will switch on to her. The Falcons playing a zone. Roderick trying to go up on Barry, but Barry not letting her. Now Haney gets around Leisure and didn't get the shot to go. Kearns with the quick pass up the floor to Turley. Turley lays it up and in. Fought through the contact there, and Grace Turley with the bucket. And the Falcons lead it by 8 again with a minute and a half to play here in the first half, 45-37. Here's Kirkman. Finds Mitchell, and we get a whistle. And I believe they're going to get Turley for a foul, and they are. So the Cougars will inbound as Ota will come back in for Kearns for the Falcons. Elise Mitchell will inbound it with a minute 23 to play here in the second quarter. Falcons really struggled on the road in their first 5 games of the season. As here is Haney getting to the bucket, and she lays it up and in. With just over a minute to play, the Cougars back within 6. And they're going to get Kirkman for a foul. Or are they going to? Yeah, they Kirkman on the foul. It was Haney on the bucket. And Kirkman commits her second foul. Sabrina Belquist will come in for Amaya Kirkman. 1:01 left on the clock. But that one kicked by Mitchell. Falcons on their home floor have been a different team. They beat San Marcos by 24 last night. And they are not only hanging with Azusa Pacific, they're leading them by 6. Here's Skylar Berry to Ota, and Buren thought about it. The Cougars, they did call her for a carry there. It's a little bit late of a call there, but they do blow the whistle and call Buren for the carry. So, Cougars will take it back, down 6. Under 45 seconds to play here in the first half. Mitchell gets it to Haney, and she gets around Leisure and leaves it just off the mark. And did Leisure just pick up her 4th foul there? I believe she did. It is the 4th foul on Grace Leisure. That is a blow to the Falcons. And Karen Byers may be rethinking having her out there with 3 fouls here in the first half, as if Leisure picks up another one, she's going to foul out of the game. We'll see how much more Leisure plays in the second half with the 4 fouls, as Haney goes to the free throw line and knocks in the first one. And she'll get a second. And that one rims out. And the rebound ends up in the hands of Lane Kearns, as the Falcons bring it across midcourt. And Mitchell almost came up with a steal there, but Kearns is able to hang on to it. Kearns fighting to keep it alive, and does. And now it's knocked out, and it'll stay with the Falcons. 19.2 left on the clock, 15 on the shot clock. And the Falcons has it knocked away. Mitchell off of Ota, and this time, last touch by Haley Ota. Cougars will take it back now with 15.8 to play in the first half, and they're down 5. And will likely play for a final shot. Pierce with the screen from Roderick, and now Belquist swings it in the paint for Haney, and she leaves it short. Rebound is Skylar Berry ends up with it. Got it to Buren, and that does it for the first half. Falcons lead the Cougars at halftime, 45-40. And the Cougars have been playing the full court press. The Falcons have really had an answer for it on the majority of their possessions, as they have been able to beat the press pretty consistently here in the first half. And they go into the locker room with a 5-point lead, 45-40. We'll be back on the SPU webcast. We're going to step aside for about 10 minutes, and we will get you set for second half action in just maybe a little under 10 minutes. 45-40, Falcons with the lead.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Welcome back inside Royal Broham Pavilion. Greg Sexton with you at halftime. The Falcons leading the Cougars 45-40. And the Falcons really played extremely well in the first half. They shot 61% from the floor. The Cougars shoot 46%. Falcons just 2 out of 7 from distance for a 29% clip. And the Cougars 5 out of 14, a 36% performance in the first half. Each team has just missed one free throw. The Cougars 5 out of 6, the Falcons 3 out of 4, and the Cougars with a slight edge in rebounds, 17-15. The Falcons have already had 15 assists in the first half of this game, and a lot of plays made just running the floor and finding players getting to the bucket. They have Amelia Bishop for 10 points here on the live stats, but I believe one of the buckets that she had went to Madison Rubino on the stats. Bishop, I believe they have her for 12 on the scoreboard, and we'll see if they stick with that when she gets back in the game. But Falcons have forced 11 turnovers. The Cougars have forced 7. And the fast break points going the way of the Falcons, 17-8. Falcons with an edge, a big edge in points in the paint, 28-14. One problem the Falcons have had is foul trouble. They've committed 9 fouls. They haven't spread them out very well, as Grace Leisure with 4 fouls in the first half. And we'll see how much she gets in the second half. Lola Weatherspoon with 3. So typically you'll see coaches pull their players when they get to 2 fouls in the first half. But Weatherspoon actually picked up all 3 of hers in the first quarter and didn't play in the second quarter. Leisure picked up 3 and got subbed back in and picked up another one. So that's going to be, that potentially is a little bit of an issue. Those are both bench players for the Falcons, but key bench players. And they did correct on the stats. They do have Bishop with 12 and Rubino with 9 points. Let's talk about the Cougars individually. Amaya Kirkman with 13 points, 3 rebounds. She was 5 out of 9 from the floor in the first half, 3 out of 5 beyond the arc. The Cougars actually got 20 from their starters and 20 from their bench, as Kirkman with 13, but Sabrina Belquist with 9, Sydney Haney with 7, and Elise Mitchell with 4. Those are all off the bench, as they also get 4 from Heimberger and 3 from Sayak. The Falcons, as I mentioned, they did correct it on the stats. It's 12 points for Amelia Bishop, and she was 6 out of 9 from the floor in the first half, had a rebound, and Madison Rubino played extremely well also with 9 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists for the junior transfer, 2 steals as well for Rubino. And those two really the key players in the first half, as Grace Leisure also picks up 6 points, but as I mentioned has 4 fouls. Haley Ota with 5 for SPU, as it adds up to a 5-point lead at the break for the Falcons. Taking a look around the respective conferences, and really we don't have a lot of scores from the Pac-West. There were a lot of games played today, but Pac-West website doesn't have a lot of the scores available. Simon Fraser, we mentioned this in the first, when Western was playing. They were playing Cal State San Marcos. Mentioned that both Simon Fraser and Montana State Billings, they're playing in Billings, but both dominant wins today. Both of those schools now 6-1. And Western Colorado picks up a win over Western Oregon. That game taking place in Fairbanks, Alaska. Fairbanks coming up. They should be underway at this point, taking on Corbin University. As, of course, Western Washington here with the win over Cal State San Marcos earlier. And pretty much everybody in action in the GNAC tonight. Several games taking place currently. And as I mentioned, the Pac West really only has one final score. Jessup over Chico State, 48-44. And a few other games have already gone final, but we don't have scores for them. Let's see if we can get you a score from Humboldt State and Concordia of Irvine. And we don't have the score for them. That game should be final by now, but we don't have the score available. So Falcons, though, with a 5-point lead as we start the second half of action, and it is going to be Haley Ota to inbound, and she'll get it to Buren, and the Cougars still with the full court press, and the Falcons break it again as Rubino gets it to Barry, and Barry has her shot disrupted there and can't connect, and the Cougars back the other way. Sayak at the controls for Azusa Pacific. Mentioned TJ Hardiman in his 18th year, very good coach, has over 400 career wins. There's a 3 from Lauren Jones. But we'll see if Azusa Pacific makes any adjustments in the second half in terms of how they play. And there's a turnover there as Jones gets it to Falco Chia, and Kirkman now going to take a 3, and she leaves it short. That would have put the Cougars in front if Kirkman had been able to hit there. She has 3 threes in the first half, but the Falcons still a 2-point lead and possession now, as Ota will get it to Buren. And Buren trying to go over the top for Barry, and she's fouled by Falco Chia. 8:53 to go here in the third quarter. And Buren will inbound and get it right to Ota, and Ota lays it up and in. Good find there from Buren, and the Cougars left Ota. They lost track of her. Here's Kirkman getting to the bucket. Couldn't get it to go, but Falco Chia is there for the rebound and the putback. And it's a 2-point game, as still full court press, and there's Jones committing a foul on Kearns. It's looking kind of, on that possession anyway, like they're laying back just a little bit, as the Falcons have consistently shown that they're able to beat the press. They've struggled with it. They actually did just turn it over recently, and now they turn it over again. So I mentioned the Falcons have shown they've been able to beat the press, but they have turned it over a couple of times here so far in the third quarter. It's 47-47 as the Cougars tie it back up. Falcons led 45-37, and now it's tied back up at 47. Here's Buren, a 3 on the way as Skylar Berry whips it out to her, and Buren knocks down the 3. And now the Falcons, again, pressuring a little bit in the backcourt, but the Cougars able to bring it across. Kirkman left it behind and picks it back up. Here's Heimberger finding Jones to the bucket, and she lays it up and in. And the Cougars back within 1. Falcons with Ota going around Sayak and getting into the front court. Buren guarded by Kirkman, and Barry gets it back to Buren, and now Kearns with the spin kicks it back out to Buren. Buren behind her back into the post for Barry, double teamed, and Barry found Rubino but loses it. It comes back out to Ota, and she leaves a 3 short. That is going to end up going out of bounds. I don't know. One official called it a shot clock violation, but it's kind of irrelevant. We have an official near the scorers table I guess she was just. I'm not sure why she was holding up play. We're good to go here. As the Cougars with possession, and Sayak puts it out of bounds off of Rubino, and the Falcons commit a foul here as Kearns commits her first foul. Barry to the bench. Bishop back into the game for SPU. And Bishop with 12 in the first half. This one stolen by Rubino. And the Falcons back the other way. They still lead by a point. Kearns looking for Biren and now gets it to Rubino. And now Sayak with the steal. And Sayak going to take it coast to coast and lay it up and in. And the Cougars take the lead at 51-50. See if the Falcons can respond here and retake the lead as Kearns, driving into the lane, draws the foul. And Lane Kearns will head to the free throw line. Foul goes on Falcochia. That is her second. Weatherspoon will come in for Ota. And as I mentioned, Weatherspoon with 3 fouls in the ball game. All in the first quarter. So she's got to be careful. Kearns knocks down the first free throw. Lane Kearns with already 15 free throws coming into this game. 12 out of 15, so solid 80% free throw shooter. And Kearns in this one just made her first trip to the line. Here's a 3 on the way from Heimberger, and she puts it in. And the Cougars back in front, 54-52 now. Ball comes into Kearns. Weatherspoon will bring it out of backcourt. And it does seem like the Cougars are laying back just a little bit and trying not to allow the Falcons to beat their press, as they did several times in the first half. Rubino in the post to Bishop. Bishop couldn't get it to go. Gets her own rebound, puts it back up and in. Amelia Bishop keeping that one alive. And here's Rubino trying to come up with a steal. She commits a foul on Sayak. Rubino almost had the steal. Let's see, did they get a foul? Yeah, they did. As that's just the first for Rubino. Grace Turley in. The Falcons have 3 Graces on their team. And Sabrina Belquist back in for the Cougars. Here's Kirkman. And she will try to go in the corner for Belquist, and Belquist was cutting toward the bucket. And a turnover. Falcons take it back with the score tied at 54. A lot of offense in this game. Leisure coming back on for Rubino. So Karen Byers taking a gamble here and hoping that Leisure can give her some minutes without committing another foul. Weatherspoon is out there with 3, and Leisure out there with 4. Leisure over the top. Tried to get it to Weatherspoon. It's knocked away. And the Cougars back the other way with possession, trying to take the lead. Kirkman. Wheels and deals. And now gets it off to Falcochia. Here is a long 2 by Heimberger. That one off the mark. And chased down by Belquist. She takes a shot from the corner and misses it. And the Falcons come down with the rebound. And it was Bishop who's given the Falcons some great minutes off the bench. This is really the game of her career so far, I believe. As Weatherspoon in the corner drives baseline, has it blocked by Heimberger. Weatherspoon was getting toward the bucket there, but Heimberger comes over with the block. And Heimberger now driving on Weatherspoon, gets to the bucket, lays it up and in with the left hand. So Heimberger, the block on the defensive end and the bucket on the offensive end, and the Cougars go up by 2. Here's Hunter Buren being guarded by Kirkman. 14 on 14. Buren to Leisure over the top for Bishop, and Bishop a little too strong on this one. Almost came down with the offensive rebound, but the Cougars are able to pull it away. And here is Sayak dribbling into a 3, and that one off the back iron, no good. Sayak tracks down her own rebound. Here's Kirkman now. And she finds Sayak. And Sayak finds Falco Chia. Great pass there by Sayak to Rome Falco Chia at the bucket. And it's a 4-point lead for the Cougars. See if the Falcons can hang in this one as Amelia Bishop is fouled. And that will take us to a timeout with 3:15 to play here in the third quarter. Cougars by 4, 58-54. The foul committed by Belquist. We'll be right back in just a moment on the SPU webcast. .3:15 to play here in the third quarter from Royal Bourne Pavilion. And my stats have not updated for a few minutes now, so stick with what I have. They're putting the points on the scoreboard for each player. And we'll see if we get the stats back. As Bishop catches that one from Ota and can't connect on the short jumper in the lane, and the Cougars back the other way, leading by 4. Here is Heimberger stepping into a 3, and that one rims out, and Ota with the long rebound. Gets it to Turley, and Turley's going to take a 3 in transition, and she puts it in. Big shot by Grace Turley, as a quick one there, but she was in rhythm, and she had room, and she drains it. Here's Heimberger over Weatherspoon. That one misses. Belquist with the offensive rebound and the putback. She can't get it to go. Bishop with the rebound for the Falcons. They trail by 1. They're looking to retake the lead on this possession. Here's Leisure from the corner for a 3, and that one off the mark. Bishop had her hands on it, and Falco Chia down on the floor, coming up limping, and she will come to the bench. Both teams with several subs in, as the Falcons now with Kearns, Rubino, Bishop, Ota, and Buren, and the Cougars now with Kirkman, Sayak, Haney, Roderick, and Mitchell on the floor. Cougars with a 1-point lead. So it's been a great ball game here from Royal Bourne Pavilion. Here's Kirkman stepping back, taking a 3. That one rims out. Bishop kept it alive, but Roderick ends up with it. And the Cougars keep possession. Here's Haney finding Roderick. Bishop on her, and Bishop's going to get called for the foul as Roderick is tripped up. And with 1:54 to play here in the third quarter, it is Amelia Bishop's first foul. And it'll be taken out from under the basket. And they get it into Haney. She can't connect on the lay-in. And it's out of bounds again. This one going back to the Falcons. And so the Cougars missing an opportunity there. Haney had a lay-in right at the bucket and couldn't get it to go down. Here's Ota out of backcourt going around Sayak. And Ota will get it to Rubino. She thought about it. She drives instead. She's tripped up, gets it to Bishop, and now we get a held ball as Mitchell got her hands in there and tied up Bishop. And the possession arrow favors the Cougars. So they'll take it back up by a point as we tick down toward 1:30 to play here in the third quarter. Kirkman for Sayak. Sayak being guarded by Ota. And here's Kirkman going around Rubino and puts up the shot off the back iron. Haney with the rebound, and she'll kick it to Kirkman. Bishop on Kirkman now. And Haney takes the pass from Kirkman, puts it up, couldn't get it to go. But it'll be a foul on Bishop, and that'll be her second. Subs in for both teams here as Pierce comes back in for the Cougars and Barry for the Falcons. 1:07 to play here in the third quarter. And Sydney Haney, the Kirkland product, to the free throw line. And puts in the first. Haney tonight actually was 3 out of 4 from the free throw line in the first half. And misses, goes 1 of 2 on this possession. Rubino with the rebound. Falcons down 2 with a minute to go in the third quarter. Here's Ota. Ota driving, finds Barry going to the bucket. Barry walked to the basketball as she was thinking about going up and decided against it, and was trying to kick it back out, but took too many steps in the process. 59-57. Cougars by 2. Here's Sayak stepping back, taking a 3. That one rims out. And Roderick is there for the offensive rebound. And the Cougars have pulled down a few of those here in this quarter as Mitchell misses on the 3. And we get a whistle on the rebound. And the officials pointing at Skylar Berry. No, they're going to call this one. Who are they calling this on? It's on Roderick of the Cougars. Okay. They said that she fouled Barry, I believe, is what they were saying there. And no, they changed it. Now it's on Skylar Berry. Elise Mitchell with a 3 that rims around and falls back in. And the Cougars go up by 5 here late in the third quarter. Elise Mitchell got that one to pinball in. And here is Hunter Buren with possession, being guarded by Pierce. Just a little bit more than a second differential between shot and game clock. And we'll see if the Falcons can run down most of the remaining third quarter clock. Buren into the lane, leaves the floater short, off the mark. Barry has that one go off of her out of bounds, and the Cougars will get another possession with 7 seconds left. As Hardiman, TJ Hardiman, will put in Kirkman and Heimberger for the final possession of the third quarter. Wants some more offense on the floor. And those are two of his top offensive players. Kirkman driving, and she's going to step into a 3, and she puts it in. And a big shot there by Amaya Kirkman. Let's see if her foot was on the line. She hit the shot and beat the buzzer, and it's just a matter whether it was a 2 or a 3, as the officials are talking that over. And I believe she did step on the line, but either way, a big shot for Kirkman as the Cougars out to, I believe it's going to be a 7-point lead once they put this on the board at the end of 3, as they will come over to the scorers table and give the official ruling. And maybe they want to take a look and review this. The shot was good. No question on that. But they will review it. We will step aside on the SPU webcast. 62-57 pending the bucket. They're going to put either 2 or 3 on the board for the Cougars, and they will have the lead going to the fourth quarter. We'll be back in just a moment on the SPU webcast.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Back inside Royal Brome Pavilion, they did put 3 on the scoreboard. They changed it now. It's a 2-point basket for Kirkman. Or, I believe that was what I just heard. They did rule it a 2. Either way, the Cougars with the lead. They may have actually said 3 on that. I thought I heard and saw 2, but they didn't change it on the scoreboard. Let's see if they do. Right now, it's 65-57. And the Falcons down 8 to begin the fourth quarter. Here's Rubino. And Rubino couldn't get that shot to go. And the Cougars with the rebound coming back the other way. Cougars outscored the Falcons in that quarter 25-12 as Heimberger is off the mark and the Falcons back the other way. Trying to make another run here as they're down 8. And they did leave that as a 3 on the scoreboard. So I think I heard it wrong from up here behind the glass. As Mitchell blocks Bieren's 3 and gets it back in the front court to Sayoc. And the Cougars now lead it by 10. Cougars have stepped on the gas here in the second half. And the Falcons have not had the same opportunities they had in the first half. And I was talking about halftime adjustments and was thinking that Hardiman was going to have his squad make some adjustments as Rubino tries to get it over the top to Barry and overshoots her, and a turnover. Cougars back the other way. Falcons have got to get things back under control. Sayoc over to Mitchell. And now Kirkman will kick it back out to Sayoc. Over to Heimberger. Shot clock running down. 5 on the clock. Heimberger gets to the bucket, lays it up and in. Went with the right hand on the left side of the glass. And the Cougars now lead by 12. And they are threatening to run away with this one if the Falcons can't get this bleeding stopped. Mitchell in the back court, and we got a tie-up as Mitchell poked it away from Kearns. And now 8:02 left. And let's see here. Falcons going to get Bishop, Weatherspoon, and Leisure all back out on the floor as Karen Byers trying to push some buttons and get her team to make another run here as the Cougars up by 12. Falcons played an extremely good first half and had a 5-point lead at the break. But Cougars have been the better team down the stretch here, and Kirkman puts in another shot. She's got 20 points, and the Cougars out to a 14-point lead. Falcons really need to get this under control, and they don't do it there as Heimberger finds Sayoc going to the bucket, and it's a 16-point lead now for Azusa Pacific as it is a 73-57 game. Sayoc now with 9 points. Here's Weatherspoon. This one getting away quickly from the Falcons. Here's Leisure. And she'll get it to Weatherspoon. Here's Beer, a 3 on the way, and that one is short. Leisure chases down the offensive rebound, though. Gets it to Weatherspoon. She gets into the lane, puts up the shot, and it rims out. And here come the Cougars with a 16-point lead in under 7 minutes to play. Kirkman will get it inside in the post to Heimberger. She spins, puts it in off the glass, and the Cougars just can't miss here in the last few minutes of this one. They are up by 18, and the Falcons shell-shocked. Timeout called by Karen Byers with 6:44 to play. Cougars running away with it now, 75-57, and we'll be back to Royal Brown Pavilion in just a moment. Back inside Royal Brown Pavilion, Greg Sexton with you on the SBU webcast. The Cougars have surged ahead by 18 here, 75-57 with 6:44 to play. And we're seeing the halftime adjustments on display, and we're seeing why the Cougars were picked to win the Pac West. We're seeing why they are ranked number 18 in the country in the Division II ranks, as Cougars have gotten things figured out, and the Falcons trying to stop the bleeding. This one, Kearns to Bishop, and now Ota going to take a 3, and that one off the back iron. Rubino tried to wrestle it away from Falcochia and gets the held ball. And the Falcons are going to keep it here with 6:16 to play. But the Cougars have gone on a run. They led by 8 at the end of the third quarter, and now they have an 18-point lead here early in the fourth. And I believe as Sayoc steals it away and comes back the other way, scoops it up and in off the glass. And it's a 20-point ball game here. I believe it was 65-57 at the end of the third. And the Falcons have not yet scored here in the fourth. And the Cougars have put 12 on the board. Here is Bishop, and she has that one blocked. Kirkman ends up with it, gets it ahead for Mitchell. And it's been all APU the last several minutes here. Here's Heimberger stepping back. She leaves that one off the mark. It's out of bounds. And the Falcons will take it back. But the Cougars have stepped on the gas here and have gone ahead by 20. And it got away quickly from the Falcons as they kept it close for most of the third quarter. They were ahead at halftime. Turley gets the shot to go, and she will be at the free throw line. Grace Turley with 7 points. And she will get to the free throw line here as Haney, Pierce, Belquist, and Roderick all check in for APU. As Grace Turley heads to the free throw line, trying to get the Falcons back to within 17. And she does. Turley with 8 points in the game off the bench. But Azusa Pacific still a comfortable lead as this one is almost thrown out of bounds. Pierce saves it. And she'll get it now to Roderick, who finds Haney going to the bucket. She lays it up and in. And it's been the Cougars here the last several minutes that have been able to find people cutting to the bucket for easy buckets the way the Falcons were in the first half. Here is Rubino, and she's blocked by Roderick out of bounds. The Falcons will keep it. And the Falcons now are going to bring in, let's see, where this is going to be immediate timeout here. Falcons are going to sub in 4 players. But we will step aside first here with 4:49 to play in the ball game, and the Cougars in front by 19. We'll be back in just a moment on the SPU webcast.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Back inside Royal Brome Pavilion, Greg Sexton with you on the SPU webcast. The Falcons really had a great first half, and Cougars were able to take the lead in the third quarter as Leisure is off the mark on a 3, and this one poked out by the Cougars. The Falcons will keep it. They'll reset the shot clock to 20 with 4:39 to play, but this one got away from the Falcons in a hurry as Kirkman hit a 3 at the third quarter buzzer. Here is Kearns, and she leaves that one short, and the Falcons are just not hitting their shots anymore. As here's Pierce the other way for the Cougars. Falcons shot the ball extremely well, over 60% in the first half, and now a hustle play here as Weatherspoon and Barry get their hands on that one, and Barry ends up tying up the ball. But the Cougars will keep it with the alternating possession in their favor. But Kirkman hit that 3 to beat the third quarter buzzer, and they had an 8-point lead at that point, and then just took off and left the Falcons in the dust. There's a traveling violation on Rachel Roderick as she shuffled that pivot foot. And the Falcons will take it back with 4:13 to play. Falcons played a complete game last night against Cal State San Marcos. And Sayoc takes that one away from Buren. And Sayoc going to get to the bucket again. And Sayoc is so good at just shielding the ball from the defender and finding a way to put it in, as she does there. 13 points for Audrey Sayoc. And a foul is called actually on the Cougars. That's on Mia Pierce. But Falcons down 21 here with just under 4 minutes to go. And it's been all Cougars late third quarter, early fourth quarter, and up really to this point. Leisure finds Buren cutting into the lane, and a good assist by Leisure, and that was what the Falcons were able to do so successfully for a lot of the first half. Leisure pokes it away, and Barry feeds it back to her. And now Leisure going to go to the bucket, and she is blocked by Haney, but fouled as well. So Leisure still out there playing hard for the Falcons, and she will get to the free throw line. Falcons down 19 with 3:22 left in the ball game. And Leisure knocks down the first free throw. She's got 7 points in the game. She's out there with 4 fouls. Karen Byers at this point really doesn't have anything to lose by leaving her out there. She misses on the second free throw. It's an 18-point game. Sayoc across midcourt. Sayoc with 22 last night and 13 here tonight for the Cougars. And Haney gets to the bucket and couldn't get the shot to go down. Haney ends up with it again. And this one misses. And the Cougars end up throwing that one out of bounds, as Pierce couldn't hang on to it. Falcons will take it back with under 3 minutes to go. And they trail by 18. Amaya Kirkman going to get back into the game at the next dead ball. Cougars are going to, as Buren with a nice cut to the basket and lays it up and in off the glass, gets it back to 16 points. But the Cougars are going to go to 4-0 on the season. Here's Haney with the easy bucket. And again, Azusa Pacific with all the assists here in the second half. Falcons had 15 assists in the first half. And it's been the Cougars that have been able to really share the ball well here in the second half. Leisure puts it up off the glass and draws the foul. 18-point game here with 2:03 to play, and Kirkman will come back in for Belquist. And Grace Leisure gets to the free throw line again. Leisure with 7 points. Knocks in another free throw. I lost the stats quit updating early in the third quarter, but Leisure knocks down 2 free throws here. So I would give you free throw percentages, and here is Sayoc handing off to Kirkman, and that one rattles home, and that is just how the second half has gone, with that one getting ready to pop out, and it rolls back in. 23 for Amaya Kirkman. Here's Kearns, and she takes it to the bucket, and I think she drew the foul, but there's a player down for the Cougars, and I think it's Pierce. She took the worst of it as she fouls Kearns, but maybe took an elbow or a hand or shoulder maybe to the face. I don't have a good angle from up here, but Pierce, yeah, I think got hit in the face there, but commits the foul on Kearns. Kearns makes the first free throw, misses the second, and the Falcons tie up Haney as Barry and Weatherspoon get in there. And let's see here. This is going to be a timeout. Not sure if this is one of the teams actually called the timeout with a minute 37. It was looking like maybe the officials actually were wanting to take a timeout to talk about the last play, but I think it was, I'm not sure actually which team called it. A minute 37 to go, 30-second timeout. And maybe it was the officials, as at any rate, it's an 18-point game with a minute 37 to go, and the Falcons are going to go to 1-6 on the season, 1-1 on their home floor. But they really hung with and had the lead on Azusa Pacific. Foul committed there by Kearns with a minute 30 to go. You just have one team foul on the board here for the Falcons in the fourth quarter. And I think that's correct. Let's see here. Jason DeRocher, the trainer, checking up on Lola Weatherspoon. Weatherspoon will come out of the game as Rubino comes back in. I didn't see exactly what happened because it was right underneath me. And Sydney Haney drops in the free throw. She's got 13 points for the Cougars, and they're trying to take a 20-point lead, and Haney knocks in both free throws. She's got 14. The Cougars have a 20-point lead. 88-68. This one poked away from Kearns, but Beeren is there to scoop it up. Here's Leisure now. Falcons were able to beat the Cougars down the floor several times in the first half, and Barry misses on the jumper. Cougars have just kind of not pressed as hard here in the second half, and they've laid back and played better defense, and really been able to shut down the Falcons, as a couple of players will get in here for the Cougars. Mariah Anderson and Aaliyah Garcia. Anderson out of Glendora, California, a freshman, and Garcia, a sophomore out of Santa Clarita. And Roderick steps back and misses the jumper there. And out in front, and a good find there from Leisure to Kearns. We get a whistle. 41.4 left on the clock. And Kearns with 8 points now. And I'm not sure what they it's a clock issue. 42.5 now. So I think they said that they kept the clock running after the bucket was made. And there was an extra second or so that was put back on. Leisure runs into Pierce, and that is the fifth foul on Grace Leisure. Grace Turley will come in. Leisure played well for the Falcons, but fouls out of the game here. She picked up 4 fouls in the first half, and she was able to contribute several minutes here in the second half before she fouls out here in the final minute. Cougars up by 18. And Rubino chasing after that one, trying to take it away from Pierce. And I think they're going to get a foul. And they do on Madison Rubino. Cougars will have possession. That's just the third foul committed by the Falcons here in the fourth quarter. So the Cougars will take it out on the sideline. 18-point lead for APU, and Pierce will bring it across midcourt. Cougars don't need to shoot. Shot clock is off. Cougars just still playing here, though. And Roderick finds Haney going to the bucket. She lays it up and in. You really notice the difference between the men's game and the women's game, where the women, they'll play to the end. They're not going to dribble out the clock. You don't see that a lot. Maybe some teams will do it. Will take that approach, but basically the Cougars there did not. The shot clock was off. They didn't have to take a shot. They were up 18, but Haney with the bucket, and now Buren at the free throw line misses on the first with 3.9 left, but it kind of seems like it's an unwritten rule in the men's game, as Buren misses both free throws, that you should dribble out the clock in that situation, but that is really not the case with the women's game. Held ball called, and the Falcons with the possession arrow, and they will get one last pass into Rubino, and Rubino can't connect on the shot at the buzzer. Cougars win it by 20, 90-70, as Falcons played really well in the first half. The Cougars turned it on, particularly the last few minutes of the third quarter and the first few minutes of the fourth quarter, and they pull away for a 20-point win over SPU. SPU has really a lot to look at there that they can take as a positive, but the Cougars were the better team tonight, and they showed that. Particularly, like I said, in the late minutes of the third quarter and the early minutes of the fourth quarter, and they run away from the Falcons and win it 90-70. As Cougars go to 4-0 with a couple of wins here in Seattle this weekend. They beat Western Washington last night, and it really kind of took over down the stretch in that game as well. They ended up winning that one by 11. It was a very close game, but Azusa Pacific came out with a double-digit win there. They come out with a double-digit win here against SPU as well. SPU drops to 1-6, but like I said, they really can take some positives from this one, and they just need to play a more complete game, keep the pressure up, keep knocking down shots. They again, I have not had the stats update since 7:41 to go in the third quarter, so I do not have final stats for you here up in the broadcast booth. I'm sure, I'm not sure that they were able to keep them down at the table because they quit updating online. But I'm sure that they have stats down at the scorers table. However, I can tell you that Azusa Pacific wins this one by 20, 90-70, and they get, of the players that are still up on the scoreboard, Haney had 16 and Sayoc had 13, but I know that there were some players that did not finish the game on the floor. Kirkman was over 20 for sure, and the Falcons had a particularly great first half from Amelia Bishop. She had 12 points. She had a few more in the second half. Madison Rubino played very well as well. Falcons end up with a few players in high single digits. But they drop this one to the Azusa Pacific Cougars. Coming up next for the Falcons, they don't play again until November 29th, so they get almost 2 weeks off. They'll play the day after Thanksgiving here. It'll be another one of these mini tournaments where they are going to play Metro State from Denver on the 29th, and they're going to play Colorado Christian on the 30th, but those will be here in Seattle at Royal Brown Pavilion. So More home cooking coming up for the Falcons after Thanksgiving. They will get a long break. Western Washington has their schedule kind of set up the same way, where they don't play again until after Thanksgiving. Azusa Pacific, they will play 2 more games prior to Thanksgiving. Tuesday, they will have Cal Poly Humboldt at home. And then on Friday, November 22nd, they will be at Cal State Los Angeles. And then they don't get their Pac West schedule started until December 5th. So they get about a 2-week break, just short of 2 weeks. Kind of Thanksgiving right in the middle there. But 2 more games for them before the break. Falcons will get almost 2 weeks off. And they'll play again on November 29th, right after Thanksgiving. It was a fun 4 games here. Azusa Pacific goes 2-0. Cal State San Marcos goes 0-2 this weekend. And Western Washington and Seattle Pacific each go 1-1 on the weekend. And those are the 2 GNAC teams here. These 4 teams, now this is the 4th straight year that they've had one of these mini tournaments. Of course, SPU and Western Washington don't play each other until they get into their conference schedule. But they play the other 2 teams from California. We are going to go ahead and sign off here. The final again, once again, is 90-70. The Cougars over the Falcons. Have a good rest of your weekend, and we will talk to you after Thanksgiving.